Chris from HorsepowerFreaks. I'm here with John, our service manager. And today we are looking at the transmissions in the E46 M3. And the reason we're looking at transmissions is because as these transmissions age, the synchros go out, and sometimes when you're shifting into gears, you'll hear that and your shifter won't go into the next gear, and you think, well, maybe I didn't push the clutch pedal in all the way. Well, it might actually be that the synchro has gone out in the transmission. And so what I told John to do is I said, okay, let's rip these transmissions apart and let's design and build some synchros for it. So what are we looking at here, John?
We're looking at one of our customers' motors. Basically, we've put it all together. We've also put the shifter on it for you. And obviously the shift movement's the same as anything else. What I wanted to show you was what the tranny looks like on the inside. There are a few people in the States, a few companies that can take these apart and service them, but basically we figured we're full service here, we should take on this project. And basically that's what we've done. We're not looking to make the tranny any beefier because it's a beautiful piece from the factory, from Getrag. What we're looking to do is be able to service them. Because as of right now, when something goes wrong with the tranny, you're basically forced to either buy a new one or buy a used one, because there's very few people that can take them apart.
Okay, let's go over and look at what you've done on this one over here.
Okay.
Wow, that is a lot of parts, John.
Yeah, a lot of parts. It comes apart like a tranny, but it does not come apart like a tranny.
What does that mean, it comes apart like a tranny?
It basically assembles like any other transmission that we've serviced before, but it is actually incredibly difficult to get the pieces apart. And anybody that's worked on these will tell you the same thing. They're very difficult to take apart. The process has taken quite a long time, because in the process of just taking apart this one simple tranny, we've had to build 4 or 5 special tools for it. But the goal was achieved. We do have it apart. Now we can basically diagnose and find out every single part that we want to manufacture and have them manufactured so that we can service transmissions.
So the synchros, do you want to show us how those work?
Yeah, I can show you right here. I'll just grab this stack right here. So if you look at the inside of this synchro, right here, this is actually the friction piece right here. There's a coating on this. And what that does is, basically when you apply any pressure, it should stop the part from moving on top of the other part. I don't know an easier way to explain that, but basically, for instance, in the transmission, as you're driving down the road, this gear is constantly spinning. And to basically allow you to shift gears, when you push in the clutch and you apply pressure on your shifter, and it applies pressure on this synchro here, if you'll notice, as soon as I push them together, they stop. I can no longer turn this. So basically, when a synchro goes out, this coating is worn right here, and it allows the gear to continue to spin. And I mean, if you think about it, if you've ever missed a shift or have a bad synchro, that grinding that you feel is basically this motion here. Because when you apply pressure on the shifter, this synchro right here does not reduce the speed of the gear. It basically is glazed over and it keeps spinning. So the way this works correctly is, as soon as you put pressure on the gear or on the lever, it puts pressure on the synchro, which stops the gear from spinning or reduces the speed enough so that it can shift cleanly. But if it doesn't reduce the speed enough, it basically hits this wall, which is that grind right there.
Interesting. So is that synchro a special kind of material?
We're not sure what Getrag uses, but most commonly in the high performance transmission industry, they use a carbon coating. We haven't had this any of these parts analyzed yet to see what they use, but I'm sure it's very close to a carbon coating. There's a few ways to do it as well. I can actually pull out another gear here, right here, this synchro. You can see that it's rough. It's almost like a sandpaper type material. So basically, when you press it onto the gear, find a gear here that I can use, like something light. This one right here, this will work just fine. So, judging by that, this is still a very healthy synchro. So, I can put it on, and if there's no pressure, it spins, no problem. But if I put any amount of pressure on it, just a small little tap like that, that's it, it's locked. And it locks to the point where you can see where it's actually supporting the gear below it. It locks that hard. So if this coating is worn or this surface is damaged, you lose that effect, and basically when you try to shift, the synchro and the gear, they don't basically match speeds. That's what it's made to do. The synchronizer is made to synchronize speeds so that you don't grind gears. And that's what most commonly goes out in these trainings. Very rarely have we seen anything else go out. The parts are made very well.
And when you're racing, like what I've noticed, at least in our race car, is that the 2 to 3 shift, every time and normally I don't ever get into second gear, but if we do get into second gear and we hammer it into third, a lot of you E46 M3 owners probably notice no matter how hard you press that clutch in, you're still going to grind third gear if you do it quick. So so that's definitely a synchro we're going to be replacing in the HPF car.
Yeah, and a lot of times these synchros go out from nobody's fault. It's caused by, or I mean, a lot of the time it's caused by a clutch that's on its way out that the operator doesn't realize until a gear has been damaged.
So how does this impact SMG transmissions?
The same way. The SMG transmission, besides a few small differences, it's got exactly the same stuff in it.
So the SMG transmission is doing the shifting just like we would, and it's trying to go into a gear with a synchro that's not working.
Exactly. So with the SMG, if per se it tries to engage a gear that basically will not physically engage, because if your synchro is out, I mean, any of you that have felt that, for instance, missing a shift is basically replicating a synchro out. The shifter just hits a wall. It will not go into gear until you reduce speed, push in the clutch and hold it, whatever you need to do. Same thing with the SMG. It'll attempt to shift the gear, it'll hit that wall, it'll pop you out, the numbers will start blinking, and you're pretty much at a dead roll for at least,
and you'll sometimes hear
a few seconds. Yeah, you'll hear it. You'll hear it, you'll feel it.
It'll go. So, all right, well, thanks, John. I appreciate it.